All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got a very special treat for you guys. I have Estrella on with me, and we're going to be casting Weibo Gaming's hero in the right side of the map, Trigger in the left. This is from this week's Pigstarcraft 11 Weekly. The side of the bracket I wasn't casting live, and I absolutely want to see what's going on because Trigger, since he's moved to Korea, there's so much excitement. He's playing really well. His micro is looking amazing. He's just really grinding the game. And obviously, Hero's hero, and you're a Protoss expert, so we're going to be tapping into your knowledge and wisdom. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I don't know if I'd call myself a Protoss expert, but I'm definitely a Protoss enthusiast, so I'll share what I know.
should be fun to see. Trigger historically has been kind of, I guess, he went from like snipping at your heels for you and Scarlet and whatnot and Neeb to really being one of the top players in the Americas region over there. How's your record against Trigger recently? Is it like still in your favor a little bit, about 50-50?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at a Ligalac, but I think it's probably close to 50-50.
All right, so he's really stepped up, and obviously he only started really being an active tournament player, I guess around, what, 2019, 2020 or something like that. One of the newer players in the scene, so it's been cool to see him rise and ascend a little bit. I feel like he started as a very much macro-focused player with just standard defense every game, and he's evolved a little bit over time to mix in some more timing attacks. I'd say his biggest flair is his Parting-esque micro when things get tough. Like when he's in just a very desperate kind of middle army size situation, I think he has some of the best micro in the world.
Yeah, his micro is super solid, for sure. It's one of his stronger points. I was actually impressed by, I played him, in the last time I played him, his minimap awareness was really good. Like, I kept trying to run 3 DTs to kill cannons, but he reacted every time to like block it with the probes and stuff.
Damn.
So I think that's actually his secret superpower is minimap awareness.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because you see him playing games like Battle Aces and stuff. I know he was addicted to Clash Royale on his mobile for a little while there as well. And he's like these very just fast, kind of spammy, action-focused strategy games. He actually excels at, and he came from the custom game scene in StarCraft 2. So it's going to be cool to see how he fares against Hero. Now, he goes for a pylon block. Hero's gone quick one-base Stargate, one gate on the high ground. This build's become a bit more popular recently, the like one gate expand with just the gateway on the high ground. Don't try to rush the Nexus. Just go straight for the Stargate, straight for the Oracle. How does this fare right now, though, against 2 Stalker pressure into what looks like a 1-base Blink, maybe 1-base DT opening against Trigger? I think 1-base Blink might counter this.
I think this is still usually illegal when anyone but Max Pax does it, but we'll see. I mean, I think Hero's been practicing this a lot. I think he's tired of not being able to break Max Pax when he does it, so he's probably trying it himself.
Yeah, Max has been a bit of a meta shifter in this matchup because he's the one guy who could pull off the greedy builds historically. Even with them being nerfed, he's still finding ways to get away with 1-gate expand, even without the battery overcharge. This is great pressure for Trigger, though. These Stalkers are going to get a Zealot kill for free. They already almost killed that other Stalker, which, you know, yeah, it can heal up on the battery, but it's already heavily damaged. This forces a Void Ray out of Hero. He does have the Oracle about to fly in. Battery's not ready, though. Battery's a bit late. Oh, he's misjudged it. He does have a Stalker, though, which will at least minimize the damage.
Yeah, this feels really bad when you're going for a blink all in, and this is. I kind of want to do the pro gamer thing and say it's already game. Okay, it's not game because he lost the Oracle at least, so that's something. But that's really bad.
Give us that home story commentary, Estrella. I am down. If you think it's over, I'm like, he's dead. He's pretty screwed. 4 Stalkers on the front are going to get even more damage. Void Ray, though, might be the saving grace. Gets a Stalker. Doesn't want to lose the Void Ray, though. Nice micro for Hero. Does manage to take out some more units there. We're going to build a pylon on the front. So 1-base Blink is interesting because he has to reprobe, which is really bad. Now, the weakness of Blink traditionally on 1-base is it's the slowest tech to kick in. Proxy Robo would already be hitting, 4 gates already kicking, you know, in DTs could be running in soon. But it's obviously got the most flexibility with it and the most micro potential. And against something like Void Rays fall off really hard against the Stalker count as they grow. So this is like this weird situation where the longer it goes, the bigger the armies get, the more Hero wants to be building a Robo and Immortals, at least to my understanding.
Yeah, if you can squeeze in. Okay, let's see how this fight goes first. Looks like this is going Hero's way. He's gonna lose this Void Ray.
Oh, actually, no, it's turning.
He commits really hard. I'm surprised he goes all the way out here. I mean, he has shield batteries.
I like the idea of moving out initially because, like I said, you want to fight, you know, at strong points for yourself and stuff, and maybe get him just before Blink. Like, it's kind of a cool idea. Hit before Blink. I've got 2 Void Rays. He doesn't have the numbers to minimize them, but that fight went really bad in the tail end of it. And even though Hero's up, 10 workers, he's only got 2 gateways and a Stargate. Yes, he's got batteries helping him, but of course you've got Blink. Trigger can dodge shots there, and we've got to look for that projectile dodging micro for him. Robo goes down now, so yeah, Hero's aware. He's going to need Immortals the longer this goes. Can he make it and survive to that point, though?
Yeah, one thing that's kind of nice is because Hero traded out, Trigger does not have a critical mass of Stalkers to one-shot anything right now. That's gonna, oh my gosh, is he gonna get this? Oh, he commits really deep for that Void Ray.
He's got so many Stalkers, it might be worth it. It's such a big commitment. He's going to lose a few Stalkers. Good focus fire for Hero. Get that red at point 1. Does get rid of it. Oh, I mean, that was a lot of Stalkers to go down. 10 Stalkers have died for a Zealot, 3 Stalkers, 3 Void Rays, an Oracle, and a Sentry. 8 probes have gone down, but they were Trigger's probes. No probes going down on Hero's side of the map. The Stalker's still trying to get something done, but off 21 probes, he's not even fully mining at home. Like, this is such a low income. Finding another Stalker is cute, but Trigger really needs to make magic happen with that micro. Now, to be fair, there's no Void Ray building. It's just the Stalker, Adept, and Battery. I think what Hero's doing really well is trying to pull back so his units can't get focused. That's, like, really huge. Whenever your units get focused... Oh, that's massive.
Yeah. I wonder, Hero's been, the Stalker count has been kept really low, and one of the big advantages of Blink is being able to one-shot stuff without losing anything. So maybe what Hero did is actually smart. I'm not sure. I don't think Max Pax would have done it, but in a way it's pretty smart actually.
Yeah, there's break points. When you get to the point where you can like one-shot a Stalker, one-shot a Void Ray, where the battery doesn't help anymore, is huge. Oh, but look at that Immortal micro. Hero kills 3 Stalkers, 4 Stalkers go down, 5. I think that's enough damage for Hero right now. So many Stalkers falling, and it looks like that's going to take the teeth out. And this all comes off of that first Oracle doing so much economic damage. It really weakened the timing. Trigger does get taken out. Really well played there by Hero.
Yeah. What was the... If you don't mind us going back, what was the timing on the first battery? Because I think you need to... My rule is you need to build it at 3 minutes, and it's in time for any oracles.
I was exactly going to check the same thing. I was like, PvP, especially now that I'm maining Protoss, I'm like, I need to know what the mistakes were because I make these mistakes every game, and it's much easier to watch someone else make the mistakes and calmly check everything than in my own ladder games because there's so many mistakes. Yeah, this was 316, 317. That's crazy late.
Yeah, did Trigger know it was Stargate? I guess he didn't, but still, you have to have the battery ready.
Yeah, you got to assume.
This is a game. It should be a game-losing mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate because you didn't see an early sentry or anything like that, right? If you see like 2 early sentries or something, you can assume it's not a fast target, right? But in this scenario, it's like no way.
Yeah. It's just way too greedy or inattentive. Not sure what he was thinking, but yeah, that's.
I also wanted to check the Void Ray move out a little bit. So looking at this one again, there's 6 Stalkers ready, 1 heavily damaged, 7th one warping in. He goes forward. His Void Ray is also heavily damaged. He has 2 Stalkers and Adept, a Sentry. Let's just look at this fight again. So Trigger reacts really quickly, focuses the Void Ray, and then he focuses the Sentry. And then he just focuses the other Void Ray. Good pullback on his Stalker. Lots of lost attack time there for Hero. Hero wasn't really like stutter stepping his ground units. He just kind of shift clicked his whole army. That felt like on Trigger's units. I don't know if there's that much more he could have done, but maybe he should have shuffled his ground units forward to focus fire a little bit more and let the Void Ray maybe just A-move. I don't know about that. I sometimes like to just A-move the Void Ray to make sure it loses no damage output. What do you think about that?
I think he definitely could have pulled back the second Void Ray before it died. If he was really thinking, he probably could have hallucinated either 2 Stalkers or a Void Ray before attacking.
Oh, that would have been really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really think about that because this is a really rare scenario where you're attacking forward with a Sentry and 2 Void Rays, but it probably would have been the best play here if he had thought of it.
Yeah, if there's like 2 Stalkers in there tanking a bit of extra damage as well, and then you can dance your Void Rays back and forth a bit more, Trigger's going to be way more intimidated. He might even just run away and give up the pylon, right? Because if he sees that many units, he might be like, oh, I can't take this fight. Like, I just got to run away, give up the pylon, and it just slows down his timing even more. You might get like a Stalker and a pylon kill for free, and then you just pull back to the safety, get your Robo down, which Hero was pretty damn late on his Robo. He was really trying to like man mode it with the first couple of Void Rays, it felt like, and the Robo was more of an emergency, but it did come out at good enough timing. GG, nice win for Hero. All right, well, let's get into it. Hero now up 1 game, top right of Amygdala, bottom left is Trigger. It's a bigger map. Now, speaking of maps, right, like Ultra Love has a nice ramp, you 1-gate expand there, right? That last map, Whispers of Gold, I feel like 1-gate expand is very risky there, and unnecessarily so. How do we feel about Amygdala? Two force fields can't really block the front. There's no ramp, but it is a longer rush distance. Also, because the middle area is cut off, I feel like it's kind of hard to hide proxies on this map. What are your thoughts going into Amygdala?
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to one gate on Whispers, you're definitely willing to one gate on Amygdala. I'd say I have to agree it's better for that, for one gate expand. In general, like you said, big rush distance map. I kind of expect either one gate expand or a pretty safe two gate sentry expand. I don't really see the players doing much else. You can always proxy a robo or something, but like you said, it's a bit harder on this map.
So both players have the pylon that allows you to build powered shield batteries on the low ground from the high ground, even though it is a more snipeable pylon, so you usually want to build a backup pylon a bit later on, especially if you're in like a one-base war, right? If someone's gone proxy robo. But it is two gate versus two gate. Very just, similar openings. And Hero, interestingly, has a second probe on the map, which is always a sign of someone wanting to do something incredibly cheeky, because you very rarely want to lose this much mining time this early, sending two probes out, but he's kind of gone down to that bottom side. I mean, are we thinking proxy robo here?
I'm thinking proxy Stargate. Normally with this build, if you proxy normally, then it's very obvious, right? You don't build the second pylon in your main, you don't scout.
Yeah.
But in this case, Hero's really trying to hide the fact that has something proxied.
Right,
I'm thinking it's going to be a Stargate. Yeah, good.
So our proxy Stargate's more about surprise. Proxy robo is usually a little bit more about getting in there as fast and efficiently as possible.
Yeah, if you play proxy Stargate, but it's obvious, it's more of a mix-up so that your proxy robo is stronger. It's not really, it's not actually that good of a build.
That makes sense.
But yeah, there's the Stargate. Yeah, so we'll see if Trigger realizes it or not. It's really hard to realize that this is coming unless you're really paying attention, because if you look at Hero's base, 3 pylons, which is normal. I didn't pay complete attention, but your units are usually on time. The only disadvantage is your Stargate is slightly later, but that doesn't matter if your opponent's caught off guard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he went double adapt. Warp gate was delayed by a few seconds, which it is a bit of a tell if you realize that adepts have come out, but I don't think Trigger's seen that it's adepts first either. So that's going to be an issue for him. He did build a pylon actually and cancel it. Oh my god. Barely blocks.
Trigger has been mining inefficiently on the gas the whole time. Okay, now he realizes that's good. Yeah, so like this is like one of those builds where it happens so infrequently, kind of like Proxy Proxy Second Rex Marauder in Protoss vs Terran, where if you are thinking about it, you'll know it's coming, but if you're not thinking about it, because people don't do it that often, you're just going to get completely blindsided. I think that's what's going to happen to Trigger, but let's see.
If he reacts really quickly with his probes, runs them, gets up the ramp with his Sentry Stalker, he might be okay. He's also got Warp Gates coming in now.
Oh, yeah.
Pylon, nicely placed, does see it, but he's moved out to deal with the Adepts. Oh gosh, this is rough. Probes, he's going to stack them to make it hard to focus fire. Oh, very clever. So he was trying to make it there so that Hero couldn't specifically target probes. And if you A-move, they're going to target the Stalkers. If you hold position, it's going to target the Stalkers. So that's actually really clever. I would always run away there. I never thought to stack the probes.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. I wonder how much it actually messed Hero up. Because yeah, only 3 probes in that scenario was quite good for Trigger. I would have expected 5 maybe at least.
Yeah, really surprising. That's something I'm going to think about doing. Only works if you've got the Stalker Warpins, right? If you don't have the Stalker Warpins, you just have to run, of course, because he can just A-move. Look at that. Hero refills energy, starts across the map. Trigger does see that Blink's on the way behind this. 30 pros for Hero, 29 for Trigger. Very close game. 4 Adepts are still on the map. These Adepts still shading. It's interesting how he's breaking up the shades. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. He's just been shading 2 Adepts at a time. But Trigger's, of course, got the better ground army, and Astrea's got to be... Hero has to be a little bit careful with his units to not throw them away, because he's got a lot of harassment.
Oh my gosh.
He doesn't have a lot of fighting units. This is a bad shade as well. He does not want to commit to this. The other Oracle comes in as well. Hero going crazy right now. Man is psychotically aggressive. Gets 2 probes with the Oracle. I mean, it still cost him the first Oracle, so it's not a good trade, but at least he gets something for it, right? Whereas initially it looked like it was just an Oracle for nothing. But the distraction finally nets a little bit of profit. He's going to shade in like a mad dog. Crazy man, Hero. He's throwing units away. And I got to say, he's a little bit like an enraged bull right now. Yes, he's going to grab a few more probes. And you might think, well, these units aren't good for fighting later on. Yes. On the other hand, look at the units lost tab and realize you are down at a lower Stalker count. You are putting yourself in a position where now Trigger doesn't need to worry about the counterattack, right? Nearly as much. It's just a single Oracle. If he can defend that Oracle, he could do a very vicious counterattack. And if he can deny the third of Hero, then all of this early aggressive opening damage of 9 probes is not going to be worth anything.
Yep. It's one Oracle is way less scary than 2. Versus 1, sometimes I don't even leave any Stalkers at home. Versus 2, you probably have to leave at least 3 to be safe, so Trigger can push out if he wants. Also worth noting that Hero's third base choice is a bit weird. Not sure why he picked that one. It's a bit more exposed.
Yeah, that's a really weird one. Normally 3rd and 4th along the top of this map is standard. Gold base is what you take if you're an idiot and you like losing games. I'm going to stand by that. Same with the purple gas on Ley Lines. I think it's a terrible base destroyer. I'll get your thoughts on Ley Lines later. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, the gold base. Oh, I guess we got to watch the Stalkers first. Both sides looking to backstab.
Yep, Trigger is jumping into the main base. Hero is looking to cancel the third, so let's see. Trigger gets a pylon so far. He's getting some probes.
Hero's going to get more value. Hero's going to get more value. He gets the cancel, but Hero's got to get out of there with those Stalkers. Trigger committing so hard. Why are the probes fighting for Hero? I'm not quite sure. There we go. He does deactivate them by putting them on the assimilator, lowers their threat level. Getting a decent trade here is Trigger with the micro. Tries to save some of the Stalkers. He's only going to get 2 out. That's an expensive trade, dude. This is looking pretty damn messy right now. Hero's behind on the units lost, but getting rid of the third means you've got 3 Nexi mining. Your opponent does not. And as long as he can repower things, get the upgrades going again and that sort of stuff, that'd be huge. Guys, what Australia, what happened to Hero's upgrade? Did +1 never start? Or did he cancel it?
I have no clue. I'm not sure what happened there.
I thought it was like halfway finished or more. Did he accidentally cancel it?
Well, we'll take a look after the game. You very well might have. There's a fight going down in the bottom right. Force fields from both sides. Hero is looking to blink forward, and can't tell who this trade is favoring so far.
Oh my gosh.
So
crazy
aggressive.
aggressive.
My god.
Whoa, reinforcements of Trigger could punish him for that. Oh, I mean, if you can dodge projectiles in these small-scale fights like Trigger's trying to do here with the pullbacks, oh, the focus fire for Hero. Hero just absolutely not knowing how to holster his excitement at all, just goes way too deep. Oracle comes in behind and 2 Stalkers handle it. You're talking about minimap awareness earlier. I feel like that's it. While he's handling fights, Trigger's been so good at handling that minimap awareness, and this is the first thing that really opened my eyes to how good Trigger was. I remember him playing PvTs versus Beyond, where he would just like leave no defense and just always react so well versus things like Raven auto turret harass. So really good hold for him in the middle. He's down 6 workers, but he does walk into a stasis trap with the counterattack. Now, Hero, he's got the worker advantage, 5 gates against 3, but he has not restarted +1. Maybe he never started it to begin with. I'll check that at the end of the game. I feel like he could have had a +1 by now, which would be a massive advantage in these fights. Hero a bit far forward, does take a few big immortal shots. He's going to lose the Zealot. Nice around. Oh, Trigger attacks his own Stalker there. That's what we call the Clem Max Packs fingers. These young kids always spamming clicks so much, attacking their own units a little bit, but Trigger coming in decisively, grabs a few more Stalkers, loses a couple of his own for it. And Hero, if he can just get a few more warp-ins, get to charge, he could be able to hold on. He starts his +1 now. He starts a 4th Nexus. In the middle of this, starts a 4th Nexus. Hero, extreme greed right now. Does have a battery, but nothing else. No sentry. I think a sentry would be amazing with energy to just force field that choke point, split units up, maybe trap the Immortal here. Without charge, it's got to be pure Stalkers for Hero, but Hero's gas count is just so low.
Yeah, I wonder if he thought he started charge or he just forgot. I'm not sure. Yeah, his gas count is too low to build Stalkers, but yeah, here Trigger is just pushing in, and he's trading really well just because he has a higher unit count right now.
Yeah, 1,500 resources ahead in the units lost overall this game. He's been trading really well start to finish. Hero's got like such a big worker advantage of about 10, but he needs to be able to hold on. He's just lost his gate advantage. Trigger's up to 6 gates. He's just warping it at home and rallying across the map with Zealots. Slow Zealots, but they'll soon be charged Zealots. The Immortal does get exposed. Trigger quickly target fires it on the Stalkers before it dies, just making sure he gets any value he can. The probe pull does help out defend initially, but Zealots are about to start coming in. And remember, there's no battery overcharge. This sort of defender's advantage in these situations, nowhere near as big as it used to be. He's trying to build 3 more gateways in the main as Hero. Hero desperately, he's trying to probe right now, desperately trying to hang on, but Trigger just keeps going. Hero, he's actually getting overrun here. He's trying to probe up and build other things. He keeps thinking Trigger is done pressuring, but Trigger, he was on the back foot for a lot of this game, and he realized he needed to get counter aggression, and it looks like he is going to be able to seal the deal.
Yep, this one's looking pretty much over. GG. And I'm surprised how low Hero stayed on the production tab. Like, he's probing, he's building a 4th base, but he's only on 5 gateways, so super greedy from him.
Yeah, and he tried to build those 2 gateways at this base as well, so losing gateways in the middle of the fight always sucks.
Yeah, that's also true. And just so wasteful with units on the right side of the map. I felt like he kept losing these little micro battles, which he's probably used to only coming out on top on, which is why he's so comfortable doing that in the first place. But I felt like he just was wasteful with his units this game.
Yeah, I think it all started with that first Oracle, or second Oracle, I should say, flying in, dying. And then the Adepts as well, being like, oh, we'll sacrifice 4 Adepts for like 4 or 5 probes, which, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, the longer those probes are dead, the more value you're kind of getting from Trigger not mining, but it is expensive, and it felt like, imagine if he just spammed stasis traps, kept the Adepts ready to threaten, so like Trigger just would be stuck defending, and Hero would have had such a safe economic advantage. I really feel like Hero could have been chronoing probes. Instead, he ends up cutting probes and spamming stasis and turtling up because he's like, oh god, I'm in trouble now from 5 minutes, you know, onwards. Whereas it's like, I feel like there was no need for him to ever be in a bad position. Now, if we go check out, did he actually ever start +1? Let's look at that whole... I thought that whole chaotic blink engagement was going to favor Hero a lot. Maybe he just never started +1.
Not sure which chaotic blink engagement you're talking about because there were so many, but yeah, seemed like maybe he just didn't start it here.
Yeah, he just didn't start it. 6.5 minutes. And then I guess the Stalkers of his kind of maybe all got chased. Oh, okay, so Hero also tried to recall his Stalkers. So he lost like, I think 2 Stalkers to cancel the Nexus. But he lost almost no probes up to this point, and I think he actually loses about, what, like 10 probes or so fighting those Stalkers in his main, which really does cost him a lot, as well as having his upgrade depowered and then forgetting about that. You can just see the overall efficiency is kind of off the charts for Trigger, and even though he didn't have the third, he just rebuilds it instantly. He's got the probe advantage. And canceling a Nexus, normally a really big move. Just not as important as delaying upgrades, depowering production, and killing a ton of probes in Hero's main. Really nice comeback for Trigger.
Yep, nice comeback. GG.
All right, let's go game 3. Hero in the top right side of the map. Trigger in the bottom left. It's Ley Lines. We didn't already see Ley Lines in this, did we? No, we saw Whispers of Gold. Yeah, Whispers of Gold was map 1, Amygdala map 2, Ley Lines map 3. This kind of plays similar to Amygdala in the natural, is a bit tighter though. 2 force fields basically completely block it. And you've still got the pylon that can kind of power the low ground battery, but it's a much shorter rush distance. I think it's like maybe 35, 34 seconds on Ley Lines as opposed to like 39 on Amygdala, which is a pretty big difference.
Yeah, definitely feels, you can definitely feel it. I don't actually know the numbers, I trust you on that one, but you can feel the difference for sure.
Oh, while we have downtime, Estrella, so I wanted to say gold base, super bad on Amygdala, I feel like. I feel like you take it when you want to lose. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're being aggressive and your whole strategy is I need to be in their face anyway, so I'm going to, like, they don't have a chance to ever control the middle and deny the gold. But I feel like that gold on Amygdala is 9 times out of 10, it's a trap, and it backfires because it's so easy for the opponent to just get behind it and screw with your mining.
Yeah, it seems like it for sure. It seems like a base you take maybe a bit later in the game and you send your probes there, but you're willing to stop mining if your opponent gets map control at any point and just shuffle them around a bit.
Fifth base onwards, right? It's like not as big of a deal, yeah? But I feel like 3rd or 4th is crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely super risky. I don't know. Maybe there's definitely some situations where you can justify it and where it'll work out, but...
Well, the other point I would talk about is the purple one on this map, because a lot of people keep taking this base, and not only is it super exposed to like low ground pushes, blinking up, or the high ground, all sorts of things, you can hit the workers from the low ground. It's also got 6 mineral patches rather than 8, and only a single gas. So the overall amount of gas you get is half, even though it does mine double the speed. But you don't get the gas straight away because that 150 mineral patch that takes like over a minute to mine out. I just feel like it's a pretty low value base, and I'm surprised that people rush it so often.
Yeah, I don't think you should rush it. I have seen a few games where you get eBay blocked and you take that base because you think the SUV is going to be patrolling the other base. And that I actually can get behind, just because it's easier to defend that base than the other 3rd base.
Down the bottom right?
Yeah, that's just farther by foot, right? Between your natural and that 3rd versus the one with the purple gas. So I can get behind it then, but in general I cannot. I don't think you should be taking that as your 3rd.
All right, the voice of sanity. I see too many players take that as their 3rd every single time, no matter what's happening. And I'm just like, it's so bad. Zealot Sentry hanging out, guys. We got Stalker Robo for Hero as he walls off against the 2 Adapt. Hallucination sees that it's an Oracle opening. And This always feels like, I kind of call this the Geralt play that Trigger's doing here. Like he's done this about 1,000 times versus Max 1 gate expand. But because it's a Robo expand, I actually like it a bit better. Like I feel like Stargate against Robo, it's a bit harder for Hero to, deal with the Oracle pressure and do a push at the same time. And usually the threat from a Robo opening is that sort of Sentry Immortal push with a single Prism catching you off. Oh, nice force field there. Almost gets the Adept, but not quite.
Yeah, this... Oh my gosh, he actually gets in this... How much damage is this going to get?
Oh, wow.
Got one...
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and the Oracle's
well.
in? Okay. Well, this is getting really messy.
Oh, no. That's a huge mistake there for Hero. He went Robo because I think he was expecting off a 2-gate, 4-gate or a 3-gate Robo or something like that. But now he has to just play a macro game, and losing those probes just throws away his advantage. 6 probes down. As long as he leaves a probe in his wall, which he's not doing. I mean... Hero and leaving his door open, right? This is a classic in PvP. He's just like, oh, you've already used your 2 Adepts, you won't make 2 more. It's a massive gamble, and it's a gamble that backfires very badly as these Adepts get in. I mean, they should only get like 3 probes, I think, this time, especially with the battery up. But definitely a scary moment. 9 probes have gone down. Hero down 5 workers. Trigger is just into a macro game now. Twilight, 3rd gateway, Blink's on the way. His Oracle's still dancing around. Hero needs to play slow, he needs to play calm, and he needs to keep using that energy recharge and scouting with hallucinations or his observers as quickly as possible. He's got 3 observers out. 3 observers and 2 sentries.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. Yeah, the situation feels absolutely terrible to play from Hero because you have no advantages at all. You don't have an econ advantage, you don't have a map control advantage because there's an Oracle, and you don't have a tech advantage. Unless you count the fact that you're building Immortals, which I do not because they're not actually that good.
They'll stop Stalkers from killing him, right? But they don't really allow you to establish a 3rd base very easily because they lack mobility. You kind of need like a Prism to juggle them or batteries nearby with those Immortals. And going for a Twilight and a Forge now on 2 base, I mean, it makes sense to do this. But the problem is, Trigger can establish a 3rd base and take the advantage. Luckily, we do have a lot of vision, right, as Hero. So you see no 3rd, you see a lot of Stalkers. You're like, okay, good. The longer we go without him taking a 3rd, the better. Another supply block, that's 2 in a row. 54 into 62 supply block when you've already taken a walloping in the early game. Those are big mistakes. If you take a small supply block in the midst of lots of multitasking, that's different. But Hero there, very unnecessary mistakes as he tries to make his way to Blink. It's a massive Blink timing. And we need a Warp Prism. If he can get a Warp Prism after that Immortal, keep it stationed behind the Immortals, he can defend. But he sees no 3rd. He sees so many Stalkers coming out with the Observers. He really should be wary of this push. Hero's unit positioning tells me that he just does not respect what's happening right now. The Sentries are not with the Immortals. Yes, he gathers the Immortals, but I just feel like his unit positioning, and his Observers especially, not covering the front of his base, is absolute insanity. He's seen Mass Stalker coming across the map twice with his Observers. He's seen them rallying out, and he's moving out right now. Hero! Mad Dog! Hero moves out at a nonsensical timing. There is no reasoning for that. He had 3 Observers and Mass Hallucination. I cannot justify that for the world of me.
Yeah, I can't either. That was extremely silly. I mean, obviously Hero feels some pressure because he's behind economically. He feels like, he has to do something, but I mean, he had to wait for +1 and Blink before anything was possible there.
Yeah, and you can overprobe your natural. Move out, take the 3rd a bit later. It doesn't feel great, but it's not that bad. You're not forced to not probe. You can build 55, 60 probes and then start the 3rd. And yes, your mining's behind a bit, but we saw that 3rd was late for Trigger, and that was a godsend for Hero in this scenario. But damn, big mistake for him. And great decisiveness for Trigger. He had the early lead. 4-gate Blink into a 3rd base is like a solid pressure. And he just I'm sure he was as gobsmacked as we were that he got that one gift wrapped for him, right? Because he's like, cool, let's look to deny the 3rd, make it difficult for the Robo player to take a 3rd, try and build an economic advantage behind this. He's not probing right now, so he's pretty committed. But yeah.
I like how little he respected this army from Hero, because if it's me, I'm thinking like, okay, I have the economic lead, I've got a tech lead, I have no need to take this fight. But Trigger doesn't think about his... Well, maybe he does, but he just sees the army like, oh, I can just kill that. There's no need to, like, use my economic advantage, play chill. That army is tiny, I'm just going to Blink on it.
That's where, like, risk-taking can be so good in StarCraft, right? Like, if you're willing... Like, sometimes we hedge too much, right? That's like a weakness as a player, is when you hedge too much. And Hero's like a funny example, because you just described hedging too much and missing winning opportunities that are in your face, right? But Hero will do the opposite, where he'll never hedge and he'll throw away a ton of leads. So there's like, you can be too safe, but you can also be too aggressive. And obviously, the best players in the world are good at recognizing when to be crazy aggressive and commit and when to be safe and hedge, right? That flexibility is probably where peak StarCraft exists, whereas some people just kind of hang out a bit heavier on one end of the spectrum, right? I think a Showtime or a Stats always hedging their bets, being a bit safer, a Hero always throwing caution to the wind and YOLOing it. And in that scenario, a situation where you're behind but you have really good scouting, it's kind of like the most pristine example of you need to play very smart and safe here to take advantage of defensive boost immortals, sentries, and observers. And it did not play to Hero's style, I think is what I'll say to this position. This is not a position you want to put Hero in. You want Hero to have something he can annoy his opponent with. You want him to have Blink or Oracles or DTs or something he can be a bit more mobile with, because I think he naturally feels his way through the game then. Whereas this army, he's just like, I gotta get out there and do something, and that is absolutely not what he should have done here. And it backfires, but Trigger played a really good series. I think his harassment was really nice as well, and really cool to see him taking down Hero in a PvP. Hero classically is one of the two guys who's just right up there at the tippity top. I know Max is kind of on another level right now, but Hero usually considered to be pretty much consistently second best in the world in this matchup.
Yeah, so did all three of those games kind of not end, but there was just massive economic damage at like the 3-minute mark in every game, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy how volatile these games are.
Yep, and that's in PvP without battery overcharge is gonna have a bit more of that, right? And it's gonna be your early game decision making and reads will be really big, yeah.
For sure, but I wouldn't even say battery overcharge mattered. It was like this game, he just missed a wall.
Just sloppy openings, right?
Trigger forgot building the battery on time, and I think another game it was 2 adepts also. So, yeah, just
And let me just break down exactly how that adept got in. So check out this move. You're still in the replay, right?
I'm here.
So he builds the battery, and then he goes back to mine. And think about it, it's because he needs every mining he can get, because the 19th probe on minerals is super worth it, right? It's not. It does very little. It mines pretty low amount of minerals. This is just so greedy and such like a... Hero obviously does everything intuitively. He doesn't really follow rules. But I think any Protoss player, I'm sure you would agree, the rule is there's adepts near your base. The probe is on guard duty the entire time. You can pull him back a little bit so he doesn't get shot down by the adepts, but then he goes back straight away. The fact that he just goes back to mining for a guy who famously doesn't control group things and just kind of grabs stuff randomly is insane. And this is what puts him in trouble. He just doesn't have a unit on standby. He just cancels the battery, goes back to mining, and it's like, wait, come on, man, we're not done with the adepts. And he's trying to bully the adepts away, so I kind of get the idea here is I can be a bit greedy and just maximize every probe mining, but it was super unnecessary. And if it wasn't for the adepts getting in, he would have had a much easier time defending that Oracle. Especially when you've seen the Oracle coming as well. He could have started that shield battery a little bit earlier. What timing? If you see this with your hallucination like he did...
My rule is you always need a 3-minute battery. If the Stargate is instant, the battery timing is 3 minutes to defend stuff.
Okay. And he started this closer to 320. So was it Trigger in game 1 messed up his battery timing, and Hero in game 3 messed it up? So that's actually like a really good, just simple lesson where we see like even the best Protoss players just mess up their basics sometimes. And for us normies, if we struggle a lot against these Oracle openings, 3-minute battery, I've just burnt that into my brain. I lose a lot of games to this Oracle as well. So I think having you here with me has just made me a better Protoss player. Thanks, Australia. Thanks for casting, man.
Yeah, no problem. I got one last question, which is, did Trigger throw down the Stargate reactively because he saw a sentry, or was he just always planning on building a Stargate? Because I'm not sure if you get to react or not when you play against one gate.
Oh, this is a very quick Stargate. Let's take a look.
Yeah, also Hero didn't scout, which is different from Max Specs.
He sees the Nexus and then goes Stargate right after the Nexus goes down. Was he planning to already? Quite possibly though, because if we go back to like 2 minutes, I don't think he ever started Warp Gate, right? He just goes 2 adepts. So I think he was probably, let's go 150 actually, just to double check that. I don't think he ever starts Warp Gate, and I think he has the money for it. And that to me says there's no plan of ever doing anything else. Yeah, it was decided beforehand.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I guess technically it could be a reaction because he saw how fast Nexus was. He knows there's no Stargate, but cool.
Awesome. GG, well played. All right, guys. Sorry, we're opening a minute in. Trigger has just had a crazy run to get here to this semi-final up against Shin, who's blocking his hatchery. But Trigger refusing to let him take his expansion. The drone's hiding, waiting for the probe to leave. And the probe is like, no, I'm not going to leave. Hatch gas pool is there. Hatchery taking a lot of damage. 5 probes have been pulled to the low ground. Trigger doing a very Korean response to this. Now he shows the drone leaving the base. And Shin gives up on it. Shin has to take his third base. That's rough. He's going to take the third. Hatchery is still delaying over here. Now, this build order can be rough to deal with because you lose so much mining time as the Protoss. But on the other hand, the Zerg's natural is very late and it's at his third. And I always feel like if the Zerg gets their natural up, it's usually a little favored for them. But if they get blocked, it's always going to be an issue. We've already got Twitch chat saying score. Yep, it's 0-0, guys. We just started this series. It is 0-0. Trigger managed to beat Hero. Shin just took down Geralt. I gotta say, I did not expect this to be Trigger versus Shin. I thought we were going to be casting Shin versus Hero here. Drone tries to block the gas there for a moment, but Trigger does now get that second gas down as well. Drone hanging out, and the Nexus has started. Now you might say, well, Hatchery is way ahead of the Nexus. Yeah, but that expansion positioning sucks in my opinion. 20 drones mining on one base here, whereas Trigger is going to get a bit more value out of having a second gas going earlier, as he can then work his way up towards the Stargate. Adepts coming forwards on the map. Third hatchery does go down as those Zerglings push the probe away. And the Adept now hanging out at the third base. You really need Ling speed, don't you? It feels so awkward trying to walk a Queen down to that third. He's got to pull the Queen back. The Adept gonna just shade there, look for an Adept pickoff. Wow, Trigger very comfortable with that Adept shading into danger. Wow, this is a bit of a crazy move. I mean, that was... Okay, yeah. A little too comfortable shading into danger, perhaps. What? No. No, 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 no. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? What are we doing? Shin right now is building a hatchery inside his opponent's main while taking a third hatchery at home. He's going 4 hatch right now. And one of them in the enemy base. Now, Trigger's so busy with the Adept, he might not realize what's happening. He's really trying to force the issue with the Adepts right now. One of them shades out. This one, oh, he jukes the Zerglings, but he's going to get caught. He's going to get caught. I mean, he's forced a lot of Zerglings, 12lings. He's going to go home. The thing is, the Oracle will see the hatchery, and I don't think the hatchery achieves anything. Right? Is this an all-in? What's he going to... Is he going to build spores in the main or something? Like, what is the... 3 overlords. What's he build? Drones? Drones? Overlords are popping. Drones or Zerglings. It's a Ling Flood! He's Ling Flooding right now. There's 2 Adepts and a Zealot. Oh my god. He's going to try and distract him. Trigger sees the hatchery though, and Trigger's going to go, whoa! As long as he fills up his Oracle with energy, he'll be fine. He should full wall his base right now. Full wall. If he full walls the front, he cannot lose here. If he doesn't full wall the front, he's in trouble. 23 Zerglings coming across this map. He's going to try and tear the wall down. 2 Adepts in that main base. Managed to take out a drone that was going to try and build a spine in the corner of the main. That's a very good catch. Things on the right side as well. Oracle moves out. No, don't move out with your Oracle. Oh god, he's only got 1 at home. He needs to wall off. He needs to wall off right now. He needs to wall off right now. Trigger! Trigger's focusing on his Oracle on the other side of the map. That is the last thing that he needs to focus on right now. His Warp Gate's not done. The Queen's there as well. The wall off. He gets inside. The pylon gets down. Trigger saves the wall off. The Oracle's doing devastating damage on the other side. I was doubting Trigger because Shin's coming into this as such a big favorite, but he's actually doing very well. If that Oracle escapes, that's crazy. Oracle gets out of there. Wall off is complete. This Oracle just needs to charge up its energy. Its laser beam is still there. Wait, it's only got 100 energy? Oh yeah, you know, it gets 100 energy from the energy recharge. That is right. Zerglings in the main, going to do some damage. Stalker needs to focus fire that spine. And the spine crawler dies without a cancel. Meanwhile, the Oracle chasing the Zerglings away at the front. It looks like the Queen did go down in this main base. That's right, guys. And with the 10 drone kills on the other side, I think Shin might be dead. Oracle's coming back in the main. Doesn't want to turn that laser on just yet. Just making Adepts, and he's trying to make Glaives right now while going 4 gates. That's going to put Mr. Shin in a very bad spot. And the Oracles with unlimited energy mean these sorts of shenanigans rarely find much success anymore, because just wasting the Oracle's energy is not enough. The Oracle just leaves this beam on for minutes chasing those Zerglings. Void Ray's going to clean the hatchery up, and behind it, Shin is going to be forced to a macro game. But it's a macro game where he doesn't have a Queen on each hatchery, doesn't have a lair, and his opponent's on 4 gate Glaives finishing up. He is, for all intents and purposes, dead. Now you might be thinking, what do you mean he's dead? Supply is similar. He's up 3 workers. Guys, The way Zerg works is you need to sacrifice workers to build buildings. So if you want to build a roach warren, that's a dead drone, a gas, that's a dead drone. And you don't have a lair, which means you don't have things like roach speed that actually make your units good. So how the hell do you deal with these 2 oracles with only 3 queens and a sporkler in each mineral line? The oracles are going to find damage here, 100%. Not only that, you've also got adepts as well. Now, I would have loved to see him build zerglings in the main, but it would have been a big gamble so that lava do die, as they cannot survive off creep. Forge and Robo go down. Here comes the Glaive Adept counterattack. Zerglings are being built. If Shin defends this, gets back into a good position, I will be massively impressed. Oh, gets a drone, bit of mining time, doesn't lose an oracle, well done. Adepts hitting the front. Roach Warren's about to finish, but it's not there yet. Good cancel. Already 5 workers going down. Behind this, as long as Trigger transitions really well, he doesn't need to do much damage. He can kind of just chill on this and say, hey, I'm denying mining on your 3rd. I have my own 3rd probing up right now. You know, I'm ahead in this game. And it seems like that's the sort of path he's going to take. The oracles have fallen back. And, oh, that's a lot of lings, man. That is a massive ling count. I think shading the adepts backwards is the wise idea. You know he's massing zerglings. These adepts are going to be so useful to defend any potential counterattack. And you see a lot of roaches coming out as well. Oracle sees a nice, juicy couple of drones there. Says, thank you very much. 2 drones go down. Going to grab a 3rd or 4th on the way out as well. Does lose the oracle. Still got 1 void ray alive. Both oracles actually died. So 2 oracles died. Only a void ray left. That void ray needs to come home. And he needs to focus on surviving right now. You're playing against Shin. You've just massacred his economy and tech. You saw about 1,000 roaches and lings move across the map, but I don't think he was watching. Trigger is not non-stop producing units right now. He's not building cannons and batteries, which to me says he has no idea that there's an all-in barreling down towards him. And in such a chaotic game, it's easy to miss. But really, you're playing Shin. And this is what I always say when I cast games against Shin guys is, as a Protoss, if you're ever in a position where you think, oh, he could be macroing or he could be going for an all-in, you got to think about your opponent and who they are as a person. And for Shin, the answer is he's the guy who's always going for the all-in option. In this matchup, 100% of the time, he's trying to kill you as fast as he can. But look at that links around. Oh, too many adepts had already gone down, shading them in for counterattacks. If he had a few more adept stalkers kind of spread across that front line to clean up those early zerglings, oh, it might have been possible. But losing the oracles, losing the void ray, it's going to be a problem. And yeah, Queen's barreling, Keck. I mean, look at the size of them. It's like that old Eddie Murphy bit describing his fat auntie falling down the stairs, you know? That's essentially Queens walking across the map, just in slow motion since they're so slow off creep, right? 3rd base is going to go down. Lings are going to get surrounded by the probes. This is a pretty desperate move for Shin, but, you know, it found Trigger at this transition point. +1, blink, not done. You know, Oracles had kind of sacrificed themselves. He was spending a lot of money probing up and taking gases and doing all these extra things, and that just makes things tough for Trigger. Has to clear these queens and break out and retake his 3rd immediately, or he's dead. So he does push out very bravely. I think Trigger's fighting very well in terms of, like, you know, mechanics, pylons, all this sort of stuff. He's going to try and counter with the Prism to Immortals, is he? Prism's not here yet, though. He's trying to chase him down. Actually kind of cute, this chase. Does get himself another Ravager and Roach. Shin is down in army supply. 14 Adepts, 4 Sentries, 2 Immortals. Warp Prism should be coming out as well. There it is. Why the heck not? Let's go for it. Trigger's going to try and shove it in. Yeah, barreling is drive or move in a way that is so fast as to almost be out of control. Yeah, didn't you see those queens? Like I said, it's like the Eddie Murphy bit of the auntie falling down the stairs. Yeah. It's perfect usage of language, guys. The Roach Ling was barreling, to be fair. But the Queen's lurching may have been a better descriptor, but you know, the whole army was barreling. The rest of it was. The Queens are kind of the little shit stain that follows behind the Roachling. Lumbering is probably a much better word. Absolutely, Twitch chat. They were definitely lumbering. Yeah. It's funny, you just say the word lumbering, and I immediately think of like the tree ants, the ants from Lord of the Rings, you know? Big stompy boys, big slow stompy boys, definitely lumbering. And to be fair, I guess they quite literally would be lumbering because they are literal trees, they're literal wood. Though actually, I guess it's only lumber once it's been chopped down and used for production purposes, right? So in that case, they're only lumber once they're dead. Is that correct, guys? Is this commentary? No, it's not commentary. Pigs rambling again. Ah, okay. Sorry, guys. Trigger's micro is looking really good. I just think he just needed to be a bit more timing attack focused when the game reset. Because I think against Shin, if you follow up the madness with another timing attack like he's doing now, rather than trying to go blink and all these other fancy things, you can actually do amazingly well. The Immortals, oh, one of the Immortals does get focus fired. Really well done there by Shin. And looks like he's going to be able to get through that Immortal, man. Is he, though? Oh, my God. Dude, Trigger's making this surprisingly close. One of the things I've been impressed by, once I remember a game where Trigger played against Solar with a 2-base blink all-in on, I can't remember the map. I think it was Inside Out. And he microed 2-base Blink Stalker versus 4-base Zerg for like 23 minutes and won the game. And he was down 20 to 30 workers the entire time, and he just kept fighting and microing. And Trigger is one of the best micro players in the world. And this is what people don't realize because they don't see him being as consistent as like a Hero or a Max Pax. Oh, that Immortal was a bit too deep. But right there, Trigger just made an impossible win happen. That was insane. And this is reminiscent of that same moment years ago. He has always had great micro. Remember? He normally plays from Canada, playing from... I mean, normally he gets to play these tournaments on the NA server. They're both playing on Korea with low ping right now. He's in Korea training. Trigger is a micro beast. That was a sick comeback. All right, guys, next game, Shin in the bottom left, and he's doing it again! But this time, Trigger is going to do my favorite response, which is he's not going to pull probes. He's going to go for a second pylon, 2-gate Zealot Adept. And the question is, does he also take a second gas? Because I like to take a second gas and go Stargate here as well. I think if you do Zealot Adept counter pressure and you go Stargate, yeah, you're accepting your Nexus is going to be delayed forever, but you don't care. And the reason you don't care is because good luck dealing with what's going to counterattack you when you've taken your spawning pool after 3 hatcheries. You went hatchery, spawning pool gas, or gas pool. This is going to be really hard for Shin to stop the counter pressure, and it's going to make the game messy and scrappy. Now, obviously, the hatchery is going to be out way sooner for Shin, but Trigger is going to have to use his early units to stop Shin from being able to mine from the natural, stop him from being able to drone, force him to build a silly amount of Zerglings. 3rd pylon on the front? Oh, come on, surely that should be in the main base, mate. Do we really need 3 pylons on the natural? That seems unnecessary. Drone's going to come in the main base. He's going to try and do a gas steal, but nah. Ling speed's on the way as well. We've got 6 more Lings building right now. 2 queens, 6 Lings, 10 Zerglings coming in. Okay, so the probe here is going to try and block the 3rd. I honestly don't know if blocking the 3rd's that important. If he tries to build a 3rd, the 2 Zealots and the 2 Adepts are going to destroy that 3rd hatchery pretty much for free. And look at this, guys. Shin is stuck on 23 workers. Keep in mind, Trigger is up a game after that epic comeback. A lot of people saying Shin shouldn't have wasted his Zerglings. I think you guys are right. If you keep the Lings alive, they can be very good once all the Adepts are low in numbers, but it's always hard, you know, to make that decision. He's going to just deny the base. I mean, if you see that many Zerglings, that's all you need to do. Just deny the 3rd, gets the extractor, gets the drone. Just keep denying the 3rd base. And Ling speed ain't going to be done for a little bit. Dude, so many Zerglings coming out. That's hilarious. So many Zerglings, but he should cancel the shade. This is so dangerous. Okay, I think you just go home now as Trigger, and you realize, hey, my natural's almost finished. I've got oracles coming out, and you've only got 2 queens. Yeah, you got a 3rd one on the way, but if you want to build spores, that's going to kill even more workers. I think Trigger comes out just fine. Actually, he's got 4 adepts. He's going to keep going. Oh, he's going to keep going. This is awesome. This is real. Okay, so he's going to actually lean into the pressure. He's going to try and build a pylon at the front. Now, the reason of the pylon is so he can create a choke point, guys. So he can hide units in that choke point. Oracle's going to do that. He might also use it to warp in on the front now that warp gate's almost done. Zealots go after the queen. 1 queen goes down. Oracle, hold positioning the Oracle. Oh, that Oracle does some really good damage. And the Adepts there canceling their shade. Oracle going to stay back for now, though. He doesn't have any Oracle energy left. 18 more Zerglings being forced out. It feels like Shin is actually doing really well. I love this response because I normally can kill like 400 units with my double Adept. I do think the first 2 Adepts were a little slow to get across this map. And I think if Trigger can't deny the 3rd, he feels like he's far behind. Oracle turns on its laser, kills like 3 or 4 Lings before it runs out. Another Oracle does run in. 2 more Adepts do warp in, but that means, uh-oh, they are warping into a surround. At least the Oracles survive, but units lost tab is looking not too bad for Shin. Gets his 3rd up, defends. You're both on equal workers, but there is a 3rd Oracle coming out. There's only 3 queens still. There is a Spore Crawler in each base, though. Such an odd game to kind of weigh up, because a lot of Zerglings died, right? 26 Lings. The Adepts here, happy to stand their ground against those Zerglings. Whoa. That Oracle almost got an extra drone there. So far, 2 drones only have died in this game. This Oracle's going to fly in from this side. Trigger being very annoying, but remember those spores do so much damage now. You really have to stay away from those spores. You know, it's always been that way with missile turrets, but it's kind of funny for spores to have like this sort of missile turret effect where it just creates a no-go zone for units like Oracles now. Oh my god. Trigger, get out. Trigger, get out. Do. Trigger, get out. 3 drones do go down, but he loses an Oracle. Kind of costly. Glaives is on the way. Oh my god, the Overlord just sees it. The Overlord's like, hey, I see those Adepts. Oh, Trigger doesn't even have a 3rd base. This is a problem. I think Shin's in a great spot now. Shin can get out a few roaches, wall off the front with another Evo when the Adepts come in. I think Shin finds himself in an exceptional position to get back in the lead in this series. And kind of cool to see him playing Proxy Hatch 2 games in a row, blocking the base. Yeah, if it's hero, it's let me go in. Like a blister in the sun, indeed. The Adepts are going to be pulling back. A lot of Zerglings going down, even pre-Glaives. Adepts in those numbers are very effective, dude. Ooh, Asherbro's been away from StarCraft. Doesn't know about the Spore change. Spore Crawler's down from 400 to 300 hit points. Do 20 damage rather than 15. A 33% increase. Same against Mutas. Same against Biological overall that they used to do. Way better at killing units that dip into the range for even a few seconds. Queen's taking big damage right now. Where are the Roaches, guys? First Roach is starting to pop. Oh, the Spore Crawler! It's on a corner! You can't be... Yeah, Spore Crawler needs to be 1 space further forward. No, put the Spore. You need to put the Spore directly in the choke point. This Shade's going to go straight through. He's going to try and block it, but the Adepts are there, and they stop the Spore Crawler from getting position. Oh my god, he's trying to click the hatchery. He's got a stasis trap to fall back on. The Lings are going to try to jump on top. The stasis trap goes down. Another stasis trap goes down. He tries to recall. He saves it, but he doesn't get the hatchery. Oh my god, is that a G? Guys, he accidentally... Shin, by running his Zerglings into the stasis trap, created a G. The transfuse at the final second managed to save that. And then the Oracles dived and sacrificed themselves. Dude, huge save for Shin. Massive play. Kills the Oracles. Didn't kill a lot of Adepts. He got like 5 more Adepts for like 20 more Zerglings there. But dude, saving that hatchery is clutch. That was a really cool move for Trigger. I love that he tried that stylistic play. But he is, of course, now slowly meandering towards Blink. He's got 8 more gateways. Will be coming up in a little bit. So he's going to go 8 gate plus 1 Blink against Roach Hydra. Now, for those who don't know, +1 Stalkers against +1 Roach Hydra. With melee coming in behind as well. Oh, I like that. He's going to add a melee upgrade just because he knows he's got a lot of Lings on the field. Might as well upgrade them. Trigger is going to need God tier force fields to defend. And unfortunately, because his opponent's got Ravagers, they can break force fields pretty well. So we want to see a lot of Stalkers. You know, Disruptors would actually be amazing. I know that people like they don't one-shot Roaches or Ravagers anymore, but they one-shot Hydras and they do a lot of damage to Roach Ravager. I always feel like when I look at this sort of attack coming in, that's what I'd like to see. On the other hand, we do see a Baneling Nest and a Spine Crawler. Wait, Shin's on 80 workers. Shin is playing like a modified macro game here. Wow, he's going to swap into like full Hydraling Bane off of the Roach Ravager start. All right, Adept's going to come in, get surrounded and killed pretty quickly. Baneling Speed's coming in also. It looks like Trigger's timing attack oriented. Yeah, he wants to try to win with this Blink push. He's going to have to do some magical micro. I mean, we're talking about some God tier stuff. We're talking about Trigger's going to need to be like Canadian Jesus or something like that. He's going to need to like pull out a loaf of bread, break it into 5,000 pieces and feed like an army because I don't know, man. That's a lot of Zerg he's going to have to deal with. He's got to turn water to wine. He's got to do all sorts of miracle stuff. Probe's trying to pull away right now. Stalker, Sentry, Adept Immortal hanging out. Force fields blocking most of the force Banelings from getting through. Of course, they're going to come through on the reverse side as well, which means he's trapped in a corner. A couple of force fields on that reverse ramp could be nice. He will get rid of the hatchery, but that's only a 5th base hatchery, and of course, his 3rd base has been mostly overrun. A couple of Adepts warping in behind that base along with Stalkers. The positioning is so good for Trigger, though. Dude, he actually killed most of the army on the front. Is Trigger doing it again? with insane micro. This time the Lings are coming in from behind though. Oh, very nice surround. He's going to try and save the Immortals, but the Hydras go for the Prism. He only gets one of the Immortals back, and then the Prism has to turn around. Very good micro for Trigger. The Prism though does get focused down. His micro is out of this world. Trigger showing he is an absolute freak. Twitch chat has corrected me, and guys, we do have to make a small correction. As always, if you guys call me out, same thing on YouTube, I will issue corrections, and I'll accept when I'm wrong. Just make sure you use timestamps, as often people are commenting on weeks or months old videos with something I said wrong a year ago, and it's kind of hard to find those moments. But the correction there was that, of course, he is trying to turn water into maple syrup, not wine, as he is Canadian. I apologize for that, offending our Canadian brothers and mothers. Stalkers, Immortals, and Adepts coming in there. Still desperate, but he's down 40 army supply. The Hydra's double upgrades have kicked in. Range and muscular augments, not to mention the +1. And as much as Trigger made that look competitive, he is a bit too far behind. And maybe it is better to do the Korean response, where you do pull the probes and destroy the hatchery straight away, because he was in a much better spot in Whispers of Gold. Now, one thing I want to check, guys, is I do feel like his Cybercore was a little late, so that's the one thing I'd like to just check here. Yeah, his second gate Cybercore transition was pretty late. Like, Cybercore's on time, the second gate's kind of late, so the double Adept is slightly delayed. It's not a big deal, but it does matter. All right, guys. Shin, once again, sending a drone across the map. This man has decided... No? Okay, he's actually not going to do it this time. Now, it's funny, because I remember day one of the new patch, Trigger was in my stream chat going, Pig, I think Proxy Hatch is busted now. And I was like, why? And he's like, it's 25 minerals cheaper. And I was like... And then, and he's like, I just think it's way better. And then I realized, like, well, it is a bit better, because not only is the hatchery a few seconds faster, a bit cheaper, but your hatchery at home's a bit cheaper. So you're saving 50 minerals on getting the build started. And then the extra expense on the queens comes in a bit later with these sort of builds. So 3 hatch before pool builds in general, but especially if you're blocking with a hatchery, is one of the best things you can do. Yeah. All right, Cybercore after Nexus. Should be seeing a second gas momentarily. Guys, did he delay that gas? Oh, Trigger's doing a modified opening, isn't he? Did Trigger do gate Nexus gas? Hello. Hello, funky opening. Funky opening, I like it. Especially if you're going Twilight Council. If you're going to do a Glaives push, this is a superior opening, I think. If you're doing Stargate, this delays your oracles so much that it's a bit awkward. But if you're just going to go Warp Gate, then it's really nice. You still get to chrono your Adept across at the same time. Chat says delaying your gas is never worth it. I mean, if you just go Twilight Council into Warp Gate right now, it's totally fine. Okay. Is he just playing delayed Stargate? Oh my lord. Interesting. All right, I need to ask Trigger about this build. I really need to ask him, because I am a little bit confused. Apparently Trigger does a lot of the worker speed pathing, chat saying, as well in the early game. I guess he's not doing it now, but he would have been earlier. It's a little micro trick him and Clem and whatnot do, where they try to pick that off. Clem and Trigger are good friends, by the way. I believe Trigger was one of the people staying in Korea along with Clem, right? I think before the EWC win, I believe Trigger was one of the guys that stayed there with him. And apparently Trigger's going to be staying in Korea for the next year and really trying to just hone his craft to become as good as he can. All right, first Oracle's on the way. Second Gateway in the wall off. Or moving out to the third as well. Adepts going to be shading into the natural. Focusing down a couple of droney drones there. 2 drones do go down. Ooh, okay. Oh, nice shuffle on the Adepts into the corner. Limiting surface area, so at least they kill a few more Zerglings. I think 2 drones and 3 Zerglings for 2 Adepts is actually worth. Third Nexus comes down at 340. Second Oracle with no delays. And a couple of Zerglings going to run into that third base right now. Oracle needs to turn its laser on. It's trying to be patient, letting the shields absorb what they can. He didn't even turn the laser on. Oh, Trigger. So disciplined. He's literally Trigger disciplined, guys. A lot of people would have panicked the moment the Ling showed up, turned the Oracle on, but he was like, yeah, it can absorb some damage on the shields. It doesn't really matter. Now, question for Twitch chat, guys. Do the shields regenerate while it's building. Because obviously the shields are growing because it builds shields and hit points at the same speed. But do the shields that got damaged also regenerate when it's building? Or does it have to finish building for those shields to start regenerating? I actually have no idea how that works. Chat says they don't think so, but does anyone actually know, I wonder? I only fully trust it if it's like a proper map maker / printf level nerd. Who knows? You'd think it would have to wait. So we'll check. We'll see if the shields also have a delay or if they're instantly regenerating when it finishes. Look at this, guys. Shields are instantly regenerating. So I don't know. I think it probably it doesn't, but yeah. Ooh, more drones going down. Oh, going back to mine a little early there. And Adept does shade to the left, doesn't get much done. Oracles keep trying to get in here, but the defense has been pretty good. And we're getting dangerous because we've killed 6 drones, but you've lost 5 Adepts. And now the counterattack starts to look a little scary as well, as the Oracles are on the other side of the map, looking to deny that 4th base, which they can do. With only a 2 Oracle opening, one has to be careful around that. Oh, can we do Evo Chamber? Nope, drone just gets obliterated. Hatchery cancelled there. And those Oracles just going to be dancing around. He could fight this Queen if he really wants to. Single Queen on its own, but you never know where another Queen is with a Transfuse nearby. 3rd and 4th gateway up. 5th and 6th gateway building. Feels like a gateway man style for Trigger. Refills the Oracle on energy. I mean, 6 gate blink pressure with Oracles is pretty standard. But the fact is there's no gases on the 3rd. He's just going to 60 probes for now. Oracle does see the Lings come in behind it. A few more Stalkers warping in. Ling's going to try to kill some probes. Good pullback. Oracle does chase those away. Stalkers on the front hanging out. There's no blink with those just yet. And this was the high energy Oracle that had to turn on its laser already. 61 drones versus 64 probes. Trigger, though, very committed to this attack. Stasis Trap gets a big one on the Zerglings. Shin overcommitting a little bit. Queen Ling coming forward. The Oracles doing what they can. Blink finally comes into the play. Queens are up front, and the Adept does go down. 4th Nexus on the left side, all off 4 gas. Does Trigger try to splash damage transition, or do we see Charge? I think Charge and +2 might be what he ends up going for. He's going to try and trap some Zerglings. Oh, very nice. Good value. Gets himself a whole bunch of Zerglings. Lots of Lings are going to counterattack. There's nothing in the... Oh, no! Trigger's been studying Hero, guys. His time in Korea has been spent under Sensei Hero. And Hero said, first rule of Fightcraft is you must always leave your door open. Trigger said, why? And he said, shut up. Stop asking questions. You're a student. Do as I say. Don't question me. That's right, guys. Hero's an old-school angry Protoss dad. Massling Queen trying to defend very well. The Lings did not probe the natural wall, thankfully, but they are going to find the 4th base, and that's going to be a dead base, I'm pretty sure. Stasis Trap tries to go down the Queens. Focus fire it. Lovely micro on the Queens, but the Queens are starting to fall. Then again, these Stalkers are as well. Nexus goes down. I don't think he cancelled that, but we'll check here. He did not cancel it. Nexus did die. Nonetheless, Trigger's microing very well. Trigger happy to play the mechanical game, happy to play the speed game, happy to dance with the Zerglings, but he gets punished. The Lings get surrounded. A big victory there for Shin, catching so many of those Stalkers. Units lost tab in the top left tells us it's 800 in favor of Trigger. Trigger is up 7 workers, actually. So even though all those Stalkers died, he might still be able to do it. He's got a Templar Archives and Charge coming in. No +2 just yet. He sees the Hydras, which is a really big find. And I think with a 4th base for him coming up again, he's going to be in a pretty good spot. I mean, obviously, Shin, 61 drones is not a lot, but Hydras are just such a good unit. It might be okay. Stalkers trying to stand and fight. Queen's on the front. Stasis Trap's there, blinking away. You do not want to lose any more Stalkers. Gets the Queen before she can take the Stasis Trap to the face. Hydras are going to push forward, but no one there to set off the Stasis, which means Shin losing Hydras. Single Adept in the main base going to go down there. Trigger tries to target it just a second too late. Zealot's going to run into the natural. That's a bit of a wild man play, that is. Trigger trying to just overwhelm Shin. Finds a Hydra and a Queen. Stasis Trap's trying to cover his retreat right now. Dude, Trigger's playing really good StarCraft. He is all over Shin in the multitasking war. I was not expecting Trigger to just friggin' raw mechanical mode try and win this way. But dude, he's doing it. He's got Storm almost finished behind it. Zealot's taking out Queens. The 4th base not mining. And he's got a 4th up with gases starting. Meanwhile, yeah, you've got good tech. You got +2 melee. You got Hydras. You got a Baneling Nest coming in. But without a 4th base mining, no 5th hatchery, Shin is actually getting overrun by Trigger. And this is setting up a potential Trigger vs Dark Grand Finals. Now, obviously, Dark's a very different beast to Shin, but the fact that you're getting here to Game 3, you look like you're winning if you can take Shin down. If you can finish this game off cleanly, cool, calm, collected, the way I think Trigger's well set up to. I mean, up 20 workers with Storm. it's going to take a real mess up for him to lose, especially with, he's got cannon in the natural, he's got like little bits of insurance with cannon battery everywhere. But Dark is going to present a very different problem if he gets, I think Dark won the other semi anyway, actually. You guys let me know if Creator beat him, but I think Dark was a big favorite there. Dark's always a big favorite against just about anyone. If you're not a top 3 player in the world, that's a problem. This isn't Trigger, this is Parting Reborn, says chat. He's playing like it. So maybe with a bit better macro behind it than Parting ever had. Trigger's macroing and microing together. Parting was always a little bit more like Hero in that like he's committed when he's attacking you, you know? Trigger is kind of playing a little bit more of that Max Pax inspiration of just, I'm just going to do my thing. Gonna macro, micro, do the whole setup. Clem, another player who plays Protoss just like this. In his opponent's face, macroing and microing at the same time from start to finish. Trigger playing really good. 30 supply difference between Shin and Trigger right now. Trigger has the better army. As long as slow banelings don't connect with High Templar, he should be fine. Oh my lord, he loses a couple High Templar, but I think it might be okay. Zealots on the right side are getting cleaned up. He's still trying to storm these Hydras. Stasis Trap trying to protect him. The High Templar getting overrun. Trigger's got to be a little careful. This fight's getting a bit wasteful. Still ahead in the units lost. Stasis Trap's helping him out, but he's going to lose a lot of these units on the way home. And that's kind of crazy. Alright, he's going to have to fight with the Archon. Otherwise, the Zerglings are going to get it. Oh, nice Zergling block for Shin. Gets himself an extra Archon. I just don't think it matters. I think you got so much money here as Trigger. That was a big throwaway of an army. But I think as long as you take a 5th base, like, it's Shin. He doesn't really have a late game to be spoken of. You just need to keep building basic army units. And I think the Zealots need to keep counterattacking because they're going to be worthless in a frontal fight. And guys, he's actually really weak spot right now. Trigger's army is mostly Zealots. He has no actual fighting units. He has 1 Immortal, 4 Stalkers. I think Shin's going to win this. I know that sounds silly because you think Stasis Trap Immortal Cannon, you can defend. Well, yeah, if he gets some more High Templar into Archons and Immortals up, but they're not ready yet. This Zealot counterattack's really going to help, though. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Shin to do more damage, but oh my god, the Baneling's on his High Templar! He morphs the high energy High Templar into the Archon, while the ones at the front take the Banelings to the face. He does have energy recharge available. That 4th base is going to go down. Like I said, Zealots ain't going to do much here. Yes, they're doing good on the counterattack. You're going to lose your own 4th base. Oh man, Shin finding an opening. Banelings trading on the Zealots and the pylons there. Hydras are in the mineral line. Storms try to come forward. I think that's the energy recharge High Templar we're talking about. Yes, it is, but the second Storm completely whiffs. The Hydra's doing very well. There's no Colossus. There's no sustained damage output. It's all in the Zealot counterattacks. The Oracle's going to run and then die. The Archons, the Immortals trying to fight here, but he just doesn't have enough damage right now. It's time to use that fancy Prism Micro that we know Trigger is able to do. Hydra's trying to dance as best they can, but Shin's trapped in a corner. He's trapped between his Zealot and a hard place. Link's coming from the right side, but not quite quick enough. Trigger, a moment of frailty in amidst an incredibly strong game, made this more competitive than it needed to be, but even losing his 4th base, he is up 10 workers. He can rebuild that 4th. That Hydra, it's the last shot, got the Immortal before it went down, and he's making him... Mama! Trigger has decided he is done with it. Shin just kicked him in the shins, took his Lego, broke apart his toy Lego set, and Trigger's had enough. He said, I don't like this stupid, dirty, gooey Zerg family friend that your friend brings over, and they go, oh, Trigger, make sure you go play with Shin. Make sure he feels welcome in our house. Yeah? Why is he breaking all my toys? Trigger calls Mum. Mum doesn't even get to the room before Shin taps out. And Trigger does take a really impressive 2-1 victory. GG, well played. Alright. Who the heck saw this coming? We've got Creator in the bottom left side of the Pigstarcraft Weekly 11 Finals. Trigger in the top right. That's right, the Pigstarcraft Cup, aka the America's Weekly Replacement Cup. And we have already got a forward pylon from Trigger, who's going double adept. 4-gate. It's a 4-gate, ladies and gentlemen. Chronoing the Warp Gate a second time already. This is a huge commitment against a 1-gate expand sentry build for Creator. Creator has not scouted at all. His first scout is a hallucinated Phoenix going out, and it's going to be finding out, oh my lord, number 1, no Nexus, number 2, couple of gateways, and there's a 3rd gate, and that's a 4th gate, of course, on the front. He's going to have to try and defend. He's got a Robo coming up in the main, so it's going to be 1-gate Stalker production after the 2 sentries, and then Robos after that as well. Battery's already here. Let's see if Creator can defend this. Creator, always a player to try and perfect a macro build. Trigger is the one who's trying to punish it here. And I honestly feel like without Battery Overcharge, I get Force Fields are good on this map, but are they going to be good enough is the question. I mean, we've already got a sentry coming in for Trigger as well behind this. You can actually Force Field Creator yourself as well, and that can be highly effective. But it all comes down to how good these force fields are in the choke point, and is there enough damage to capitalize? If you can split up the advance of Trigger and have your Immortal gun down a few Stalkers before the rest of the army gets in, that could be highly effective. With a 4-gate, you are going on numbers, quantity rather than quality, essentially, and trying to kill him. The first Immortal's coming down along with that Stalker. He's going to try and dive in here. The force fields were not perfect. He also doesn't have energy recharge available right now. The Immortal going to go after those Stalkers, though. Good focus fire with the Immortal. The Immortal goes after that Stalker, but the battery's really helping out. Very nicely done. Manages to kill 2 Adepts and a Stalker. Doesn't lose any units yet, but the energy is low. 5 seconds until he has more force fields. He doesn't have it yet. Oh, he's going to go for the Immortal there. No pullback there with that force field popping it forward. Battery does get regenerated a bit too slow. And now if you can get rid of the sentries and then the Stalker, there's no damage left on Creator's side. He's got another Immortal about to come out right now. It's just popped out of the Robo. It's making its way down. Let's see. Can he kill any more units? That sentry gets a good little force field off trying to block. Trigger seems to have gone a little bit deep there. Loses 2 more Stalkers. Takes another big Immortal shot. That Immortal down there is just chilling. That Stalker goes down. That sentry's going to fall. No battery energy left to heal. It's still neck and neck. 24 probes for Trigger, 26 for Creator. If he can take out that Immortal, could be game. But with a second Immortal about to pop and a battery on the high ground that actually heals up the shields, that could be very effective. Pylon goes down. Probes will go down in the moment as well. Immortal doesn't have its barrier ready just yet. Does take out a Stalker, but he loses 2 or 3 probes at the same time. That puts Trigger in the lead on the workers for the first time in this game. And as those Adepts shade into the main base, I think it's worth letting that finish. Those probes are in trouble. Adepts absolutely massacring the main base. Immortal's trying to chase the Stalkers. The Stalkers realize, hey, we're denying your mining. We can just disengage on the front. And with the new Adepts coming in as well, he's going to try and focus down these Immortal Stalkers and Adepts. If they get rid of the Immortals, that is the last line of defense here for Creator. The Adepts dive on top. Yes, a few Stalkers go down, but Trigger takes him out with a decisive 4-gate. All right, guys, this game is just, this map's too good for defending 1-gate expand. Trigger's not going to be able to wall in. They're both going to 1-gate expand on Ultra Love, and that's because you've got this nice, tight, natural ramp. Super easy to force field, easy to wall off, and trying to wall in into that is going to be a bit of a crazy choice. Trigger is still going high ground pylon. Trigger, what are we doing? Trigger, you can't break this. I mean, maybe 3-gate Robo. You could do a proxy Robo, maybe siege him from the low ground and break off the buildings. Yeah, proxy Robo is an option. We'll see what he could also go 1-gate expand from the high ground. It's just that gives up the advantage of this ramp here. Yeah, Creator took out Astrea to get here, as well as Dark. Trigger took out Hero and Shin. So in case anyone's wondering, was this an easy road to get here? Not at all. Second gateway comes up. Probe's going to pull back. So Creator's scouting, and he's going to go 1-gate expand off single gas. Oh my gosh. The greed! Creator's greed! Oh man. I mean, to be fair, on this map, you're meant to be able to defend it. That's the understanding I have. And Trigger's like, no, I'm just going to proxy. It's fine. I wonder if this is I think it's a Robo. It could be Stargate. He could go like double Adept Oracle or something. We'll see how he goes. Creator trying to harass him. Cybercore's gone down. We should be seeing a second gas. Unless we want to go... are we going to... Oh, he might go 3-gate to defend. If Creator plays 3-gate, Trigger's going to have the Warp Prism advantage. Cybercore's about to finish. And it's a Robo. Yep, 3-gate Robo. All right, guys, he'll build a gateway on the front at some point as well. Ooh, okay, Zealot does come out. That's going to come out for Creator and look for where the proxy is. Sees the probe coming from that direction. Does he divert? Yes, he does. He realizes, oh, I know what you're up to. Now, the Adepts should be able to stop that pylon from dying. I think if they shade there straight away. Oh, he doesn't quite see it. Not just yet anyway. Probe's going to try and attack the Zealot. Trigger's just trying to distract it. He knows any seconds he gets to distract this could be huge. He can't distract it anymore, though. He's going to have to build a pylon and a 3rd gateway. Stalker comes out. He doesn't get the 3rd gateway up. Uh-oh. Might have to just build that at home and do slow warp-ins. Oh, Creator's going to get rid of the pylon, mate. Hasn't started an Immortal just yet. Didn't quite have the money. Adepts do take care of the Zealot, though. And look at that. 2 Adepts do beat a Stalker. He's going Prism first. Oh my god, you need an immortal. He cancels the prism, makes an immortal. Does he not have any stalkers? He's got more adepts coming. He was going to play full adept prism and just try to kill workers, and then he was going to expand behind it. He was going to do a 4 prism drop. Trigger was planning to do a prism with 4 adepts, but look at this. Creator's already planning a counterattack. He's doing a 3-gate, 1 base, 1 gas 3-gate counterattack. Stalker's going to take care of this. The adepts should be able to kill that Stalker though. They should be able to kill that Stalker. Immortal might kill this one as well. Oh, he gets a second shot off. That's big. That's big. These Stalkers, one of them goes down. The other one is very low and in the corner of the map. Pylons on the other side. Creator, I think he needs to stop thinking about being aggressive and start thinking about being defensive, because losing these Stalkers, even though you've killed 2 Pylons, which is good, you killed an Adept and 2 Probes as well, that Stalker is done for. The Adepts should be able to trap it. Need the player watching for a moment. The Stalker runs forward, sets off the Immortal Barrier. That's going to take a good 30 seconds to cool down. I don't know the exact cooldown time. I'd say it's about 30 seconds though. Trigger comes out with a Sentry, starts attacking the Pylon rather than the Probe, which I find interesting. I thought he would have killed the Probe first and foremost, but he changes targets to that Pylon, saying, I need to stop you from warping in right here. 2 Stalkers warping at home, and look at that. It's an Immortal and an Adept dropping into the main. There's 5 Stalkers ready. They can shut this Prism down hard. But it's all about the Prism. Can he pick up? Can he save the units? The gateway gets cancelled on the other side. Trigger needs to run. Trigger needs to run. Does he stand and fight? He's going to change directions. He's got to stand and fight now. He has to stand and fight. Can he kill the Stalkers? He kills 1. Can he kill a second one? Oh, he's going to kill 2. The Prism comes back in and baits a shot or 2. But with the Zealots on top, doesn't even get the 3rd Stalker. That's a big overcommitment for Trigger. Losing an Immortal and a Prism puts Creator miles ahead. And Creator delaying this proxy really well. And I think if Trigger had placed it over here, just a bit further away, this would be a very different game. Because there'd be a 4 Adept drop, just messing up Creator, doing damage, and then the Immortals would be coming in behind. He's got Sentries. But what's he going to do with Sentries? Like, what can you do with this army as Trigger, guys? I do not know. Probes coming out there for Creator. Creator's up 15 workers with his own Robo building, going up to 3 gases. And force fields ain't going to be too useful. Running up this ramp seems like a bad idea. Then again, there's no defensive sentries. He could actually shove up. He can push forward up this ramp. It's just if a single sentry comes in, he's trapped. He's trapping the Stalkers. Focus firing pretty nicely. Gets rid of 2 Stalkers for 1 Adept so far. Trying to take out some Zealots. These Adepts starting to take some damage, but the Immortal's doing really well. Traps another Zealot out front. It's kind of crazy. He's trading really well, but he's down 20 workers, so he needs better than trading really well. He kind of needs to just kill Creator right here, right now. And I don't know, can he do that? The Zealot's struggling really hard. No gas for a Sentry warp in. Creator's trying to make an Immortal and make more batteries. He's losing units like crazy. Guys, he's lost 7 Stalkers, 6 Zealots. For what? A couple of Adepts. I thought Trigger was dead. And it still feels pretty awkward for him. He's starting to lose Sentries. Prism saves a few of those weak units. The Gateway does go down. Sentry comes in. Energy recharge already got used on a battery though. 15 seconds till that's ready again. He's got to get in here. Does Trigger before that energy recharge. Otherwise force fields will buy a lot of time and split his army. He does have a Prism though, so he can juggle around a fair bit. Creator getting supply blocked right now. He's also lost all his production. He's only on 1 gate, 1 robo production. So even though he's got more money, he can't outproduce. He has to use his probes to fight. The Immortal gets trapped. Oh my gosh. Trigger going after the Immortal right now. He's going to drop an Immortal over there and try to focus fire it. Drops both Immortals on top of the enemy Immortal. They will win that fight. And Creator has to tap out. Creator staying on 1 gas for too long in that game. And too reliant on slow Zealots. He should have got a Sentry up earlier to force field the ramp. Started using energy recharge on that to keep force fielding. And got into just more Stalkers, more Immortals of his own. That was really well played though. Trigger with a sick comeback. Alright guys, Creator in the bottom left going, what the hell is this guy eating? Trigger with just such nice micro, and I feel like all day today he's been making comebacks from crazy bad positions. I don't know if he got some Korean Adderall. Some people say he has a Korean girlfriend now, and I do understand that can pump your testosterone up, make you click very fast. Actually, it makes me think of, it's like the prank where they have like a really heavy thing and they try to get dudes to pick it up outside the gym. They're like, oh, sorry, can you help me move this? And it looks like something that's like innocuous, but they filled it with lead or something, right? And then they have a copy of the same item, but it's very, you know, it's not very heavy, right? So they're like, oh, they pretend their one's heavy to lift, but they can lift it while being like a scrawny guy. And then the gym guys try to pick it up and like basically put their backs out. But then you see, if they have like their girlfriend there or there's a girl they're trying to impress, the guys always succeed in lifting it. Is that now feats of strength that works for. If you're trying to impress a girl, sometimes you'll have an impressive feat of strength. Does that work with StarCraft skill? Maybe. Maybe not. Either way, Creator is going to stop 1 gate expanding. He's going to go 2 gate here because he's like, yeah, screw that. And Trigger, I think, is a bit happier to play more standard here. If it's 2 gate versus 2 gate, I don't think he feels the need to all in. He just wanted to punish the 1 gate versus 1 gate. Generally, the impressing a girl does not make you play better at video games. In my experience, no, but Trigger might be that rare person where that's the case. Who knows? We find out like the real thing is he's just like, no, I've just been like eating Korean fried chicken and listening to K-pop and I don't know, I just play better. We're like, fair call. Korean fried chicken's really good, man. You know, when I was growing up, I thought KFC was pretty good. Then I found out about the real KFC. It starts with Korean and not Kentucky. And I was like, wait, you can just lather like rich syrup all over your chicken and make it like a dessert and dinner at the same time? You can just like, I thought fried chicken was one of those really unhealthy foods, but you can lather it in sugar as well and make it even more unhealthy? Like, this is amazing. Koreans have figured that stuff out. You know, America's out there with their world obesity title, fattest nation on earth. Korea is coming for you, man. Like, some of the foods they make up in Korea, like, you're just like, oh, you guys are really like, you know, you guys don't have the same history of excess that America has, but you guys are going to push in that direction if you keep inventing food that good. All right, Stalker Sentry hanging out. We've got 3 sentries for creators, so he's going to be a bit more force field and scouting oriented. The difference is the portions. That is true. That is actually true. My favorite thing in America is when I go to a restaurant and I order a meal, and then I realize that I only needed to order an appetizer. And the appetizer would have been hard for me to finish. And the main meal is literally impossible unless it's like, I'm like, do Americans, is the whole country on like 1 meal a day? Or is that just like, they're like, no, we eat 3 of these. I'm like, you can't eat 3 of these. That's not physically possible. And I mean, I get it. Like, everyone brings food home all the time from the restaurants and stuff because the sizes are crazy. It's funny because I say this as an Australian. I've had friends visit from like Singapore and stuff, and they're like, oh my God, your meal sizes are stupid. They're like, every time we get like a pub feed, we just split it between the 2 of us. And I'm like, that's funny because the American ones are even bigger. I'm like, I think the American ones are too big. All right, guys, let's talk about the builds rather than my random tangents. Trigger's playing very good StarCraft right now. Twilight Council coming in after the early Immortals. Now, you can sometimes do an early Immortal pressure, but I don't think he's necessarily going to. I think he's just using it to defend the fast third. Creator's going to take his own third while trying to do a bit of a blink sentry pressure. The sentries are the scary part of this. If he can scoop some of your units with a force field, stop them getting away, that's where things get kind of awkward. Trigger's got to be really careful here. Oh, that. He's got the Immortal, though. Once the Immortal comes in, I think he's okay. Oh, here we go. Immortal Stalker Sentry. Yeah, I've had some massive palmers in Australia. That's true. There are some pub meals that are stupid. There's like one real crap hole pub near me that's mostly a gambling den for like sports betting and stuff, and they do some of the most ridiculously sized cheap meals ever. There's a lot of gambling dens that like massively subsidize their food, so the food menus are like just giant portions at very cheap because like the one dude throwing away their family's money on the pokies out back funds the whole operation, essentially. Anyways, Blink is on the way. Forge coming up in the main for Creator. Creator's on 2 gates going on 4. So what I like about Creator's style is it's more mobile. The question is, how does he use that mobility? Especially because he's very sentry focused. I think the weakness is that Creator's a bit of a normie. What I mean by that is Creator plays like a European. He plays very defensive, very macro-oriented. If it's Hero, I'd go, okay, he's going to just leave his sentries at home. Stalkers will blink up here on the right, run in and start killing probes and just running around. Zealots will run in the left. He'll rush a gold base, Goldmaster, Zealot, Stalker. Because it's Hero, it's Creator, he's going Immortals. So he's slowing his army down. So he's trying to match the same style that Trigger's playing, but Trigger has a slightly faster third. Trigger's ahead in the Immortals. The only advantage you have is the earlier sentries, but the moment Archons hit the field, those force fields aren't going to be very useful. Actually, +1 is quite far ahead for Creator, so he does have one good advantage. Yeah. And they're all small edges, right? The +1's probably the biggest edge, actually, in that it is a full minute ahead. Yeah. What is that? 67? Yeah, 1 minute ahead on +1. He's going to go 8 gates now, so he's thinking about doing a charge lot timing off 3 mineral lines, 3 gases. Meanwhile, 6 gas for Trigger. So Trigger's gone into Blink himself. It's going to be Blink against Blink. If Trigger gets Archons up, he'll be fine. If he doesn't get Archons, though, the Zealots could become a big problem. Creator's going to go for that gold base. Even though Trigger's up a couple probes the whole time, has more gas coming in, I really worry, like I said, about that Archives timing. If he doesn't get Templar Archives in time for the first big fight, it could be a little scary. Like if he makes, I don't know, the numbers are even enough that it should be fine. But there's always those moments you see where it looks good and then like the Zealots are just so cheap and efficient that they start overwhelming the guy who doesn't have Zealots, which in this case will be Trigger. Trigger's not even making charge. He's just saying, I don't care. I'm just going to play Mass Stalker with a bunch of Immortals, a few sentries. 1 sentry, I should say. 4th Nexus coming up there as well. 2 more gateways coming in. That's going to be 10 gates for Creator or 4 base. Okay, massive amounts of production. Neither side making a play. They're both just chilling. Observer for Trigger is on the south side. Creators is over here.
Engaging the enemy.
Trigger takes a normal 4th base. Gold base is really vulnerable. I normally don't like this base unless you're being aggressive. Creator's the first one to make Archons. Still no sign of Archons from Trigger. Trigger Stalker's gonna have to blink away. Surprised he didn't blink away. Lets it die. Pushing through the middle right now to deny the gold base. This is why this gold base sucks. The gold base on Amygdala, as well as the purple gas bases on Ley Lines, are basically a litmus test for how silly a pro gamer is. I was going to use a ruder word than that. It's not worth the risk. He has to fight now. To be fair, he's got the better army, actually. Trigger should not be out here. Trigger has a way worse army. Oh, he doesn't have Archon Zealot yet. Out here with Mass Stalker. Oh, Trigger's in trouble. Great micro on the Prism. But look at that. Guardian Shield plus Zealot Archon. And this is what I was talking about. If you don't have Archons and they've got Zealots, you're in big trouble. He's trying to go Glaives. The modern Glaive style. The modern Glaive style is really cute in this matchup. A lot of players have been doing it. I don't think it's good. But it's going to be interesting to see how it fares. And maybe Trigger will show us later on in this series. The idea is that Zealots just run ahead and get killed, whereas Adepts kind of clump up and can gun down the enemy units in a bit more of a formation. Disruptors obviously wreck Adepts, though. And in small skirmishes, Zealots are just way better stats than the Adepts. Yeah, Trigger forward on the map with a pure Blink army with the Immortals like that. I think if he'd moved just his Blink Stalkers forward, he could have just disengaged whenever he wanted. But a bit of an overcommitment for Trigger. And now he finds himself getting hammered on that 4th base. I like that Creator just waited for him to overstep. If Creator was going for a big all-in and made it obvious, Trigger probably would have turtled at home and been okay. But moving into the middle of the map like that to deny that gold mineral line gets him in trouble. And I think this is something you should never get caught in trouble like this. I don't mind people skipping charge, but I think if you move forward with Immortals and a Prism with your Stalkers, you can't really run away because the Immortals aren't fast enough, so it gets very awkward very fast. Creator stays alive on Amygdala. All right, guys. Over in the right side of the map, we've got Trigger. In the left, we've got Creator. And the Nexus goes down there as well. Ooh, Proxy Robo again. Dude, is he doing this blind? Trigger is going Proxy Robo blind, and the Zealot's hunting right now. The Zealot's hunting. I think he's going to find it. Oh my god, guys, this is going to be like Ultra Love all over again. But remember, that was going good for Creator, and he screwed up the advantage. This time, I think if he can shut down the pylon again, this could be massive, but he's gone Sentry, not Stalker. Sentry, not Stalker, which means he finds it, but he's not going to have the Stalker to reinforce. So he should be able to maybe kill a pylon, but no, Stalkers are already there. Oh, he's not even going to be able to kill the pylon this time. Oh, this is way better for Trigger, guys. And Trigger's going to lift straight into the main with Adepts. And then he's going to... I still think he might expand behind it. Actually, no, he won't. He's going to commit full on. Creator trying to play greedy right now. He forgets his 3rd pylon, which means he is a little supply blocked. It's not the biggest supply block, but it does matter. Doesn't really want to build probes right now anyway. Stalker's trapping the Zealot. That Zealot's gone. Very nice play by Trigger. Trigger's going super all-ins right now. Here we go. Sentry, Stalker, hanging out. Okay. How all in do we go? Sentry comes out behind. No more probes. Probe's going to attack that guy. Trying to clean up Creator's probe. Maybe just overload his multitasking a little bit. He's going to build a 3rd gateway at home. He's like, I'm not even hiding it. I'm all in. I don't care. It's that drop I was talking about. This time it's going to be 2 Adepts, 2 Stalkers, guys. He's going to try and drop straight into that main base. Even the mining time alone is pretty big. Oh, he goes for the Sentry. Because even just forcing the force field out is good. And there's so few things that shoot up. There's like 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry. He can just keep YOLOing, man. He could have just flown over that and just dropped the Adepts on the other side. You know, he can do like whatever he wants here. So there's a lot of good stuff that he can do. Adepts are going to shade into that main base, which I think he'll let finish. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Just make sure you focus fire the probes. All right, he gets himself one probe, and then he just picks up into the prism. No, he's going to rotate. Oh, so much mining time. This is such a problem for Creator, man. His income is just so much lower. He's not even mining gas right now. Remember, the lack of gas is already what hurt him in that last game. We've got an Immortal on the front, second Immortal on the way as well. First Immortal only halfway done for Creator, whilst the second Immortal's almost finished for Trigger. So Trigger is way ahead. This probe surviving for Creator with a nice patrol path. Really well done by him. Adepts coming out front. Creator on 23 workers against 23. Trigger has the advantage. He's got the Warp Prism for the micro. He's got the second Immortal rallying forward. The Adepts do cancel the shade, though. And he's going to just push that front, force field the ramp, and that's game winner. If he can force field the ramp, it could be a game winner. But he backs off. I think he missed an opportunity there. I think he missed a really big opportunity, but Creator has to respect it. He goes to the high ground anyway. Creator's going to get trapped here. Oh, nice force field on the right side. Is it enough, though? It doesn't quite trap the Immortal. And actually, this looks like this might be kind of a decent position for Creator. He's going to pull probes, though. He's got to pull probes. He can't afford to lose the Immortal. The Immortal focus firing his Immortal. The Immortal's on the top right. Creator's winning the top Immortal fight. Creator wins the top Immortal fight. Both of his Immortals survive, but Trigger does keep his Immortals alive. 5 probes going down. And remember, the economy is so low for Creator that anytime the fight is vaguely even, that's actually really good for Trigger. Because Trigger, even though he doesn't have a Nexus, he's the one who's up 4 workers right now. I think he could have unloaded there and tried to fight, but with the battery, he didn't want to risk taking a whole bunch of extra damage. He's going to try and do some extra damage here. Gets a few shots on the buildings, not really causing any real impact. Goes for the Stalker. As long as you don't lose too much. Oh, Creator's going to try to drop in between the Immortal shots, but very hard to time that out. Zealot's going to tank some damage. Units on the natural ready to come in as well, guys. The Adepts are going to shade back to the natural, so they're shading back to safety right now. Look at that. None of them die. He can move in and force field the ramp potentially. Creator's in trouble. The force field on the ramp could be deadly. It could be deadly, but he's not quite able. Okay, he gets it. He gets it. Creator, though, is going to be able to ferry to the low ground. The Immortal's pulling back here for Trigger. Remember, Trigger is up 2 workers, but with the natural Nexus there, the longer this goes, the more chance there is to get back in it. I love that Creator's probe is still circling the main base. Dude, I thought Trigger had him dead to rights. He's made more sentries, but he doesn't have any force fields right now. It feels like he's been evading death just barely. Creator trying to activate bullet time. He is abusing that bullet time button right now, trying to find a way to survive. These force fields go down, but they only trap 1 or 2 Adepts. Not a big deal. The Nexus, though, getting very low. And if he can get the Nexus, that's going to allow him to transition. Probes were thinking about pulling. There's only 1 force field. Not even one. Not even 1 force field for Trigger. He's losing his sentries. 2 sentries go down. That's a big problem. 2 more probes go down. Creator cannot afford these losses. 5 Immortals! 5 Immortals! Trigger! Oh my lord, he says 5 Immortals. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to see today? Is it 5? 5 Immortals? Welcome. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when they forged the Rings of Power, Mr. Sauron, he said, here's 5 immortal rings for the Canadian princes, and Trigger wins the entire bloody series of them. 5 Immortals. I was like, I don't know, man. It feels like maybe his timing's running out. Then I see the 5th Immortal walk up, and I'm like, 5 Immortals versus 3 Immortals. Trigger might have this. Beautiful play by Trigger. He gets a 3-1 victory, not just over Creator, but also over Hero, over Shin, and dominates the entire tournament. Really well played by Trigger, showing he is not just a king of PvP, but also very clutch in his PvZ micro game as well. GG, well played, Trigger.